anything from me, and every time I see myself in these national positions, I tend to miss them. I wish they were here to see them, and for me to be able to pay them back at least by doing something for them. And, you know, I hope they were here. And so, I want to start off by saying that sometimes we beat on our country too much. We tend to forget about the positive stories because a lot of things are wrong here, I agree. But sometimes when you do well in school, you bring a lot of blue marks, you expect your parents to, to appreciate that. Our election that brought some of us here, that now has brought a new president, vice president, is perhaps one of the best election stories coming out of West Africa in the last few years. All right. Our neighbors, some of them changed their constitutions to allow their leaders to continue. Some of that led to coup d'etat. One of our neighbors had elections recently. There were a lot of noise about cheating and sanctions. In other parts of West Africa, there were coups in Mali, in Burkina, in Niger. In Nigeria, there were talks about manipulating the elections there. So that leaves only Ghana and Liberia. So we need to be proud that we mature democratically. But it doesn't mean that everything is perfect. We need to look at the way our election commission is conducting election here. If we could report the result in 24 hours, there's no reason why the National Election Commission can do that with $70 million budget. We need election reforms in our country to minimize the chances of cheating. The purpose of this session is to talk about our experiences on the campaign trail. The whole Republic of Liberia is about 3.3 million officially, but we think it's more than that. Out of 3.3 million people, only 105 citizens are privileged to be elected, which represents about 0.0033% of the population. So we are the privileged few, all of us here, and on the other side, plus the two, the president and vice president. So I don't want to regurgitate everything my colleagues have said, because everything they said, I experienced them. But I want to focus on solution. How do we fix this problem? When I was Minister of Finance, when I took over in February 2012, the share of programs or development or projects in the budget was 7%. By 2016, it had gone to 40%. Today, it's at 18%. So it's zigzag. Colleagues, we can cry from now to Judgment Day. The power is here to change that. We have the constitutional power to change that. 18% of the budget to development is nothing. So I welcome our new Ways and Means Committee chairman's proposal of program budgeting, and we have to do it. There are three main components that we're dealing with here to make this country work. What we have is not a real country, really. It's a theoretical country we're trying to manage. We need to build a credible state. When people talk about no police presence in certain areas where people are self-contracting justice, that should claim our attention. That's not a real state. When colleagues say money was disbursed to the police, but no logistics to move around, that's not a real state. When the entire education system is littered with volunteer teachers, that's not a credible state. When your budget is 95% recurrent expenditure, a do-nothing budget, where we just pay ourselves and that's it, there's no room to fix all these problems we're talking about, that's not a credible government. The power is here to change that. But we've faced challenges with that. So we need to go and really sleep on this, whether we want our legacies to be beginning the process to build a credible state, or we continue to make noise around this theoretical state we're in. The government is inefficient. The households, the family structure of this country, the children, there's not a single family in this country today that does not have a child who is a drug addict. The issue of fighting illicit drugs becomes necessary to save the future of our country. After us, all of us here, me, I'm in my early 50s, 10 years from now, we should give space to the next generation to come and try. We are trying to fix the issues that our fathers and mothers' generation did not fix. So who is in front of us to fix this problem, to continue to carry this thing? We need to look at the drug law. We need to enforce it. We need to invest in the DEA. We need to go to health and put mental health and rehabilitation back on the table.
Thank you, my brother. Welcome.
That's what we need to do. Welcome. When the budget comes here, that's what we should be looking at. The future is going. The drugs is eating away our country's future. Tomorrow's labor force. You bring investors here, who's going to do the work? I have a farm. I can't find workers. I'm sure it's the same story with those who have ventured into agriculture. No workers. The dream of an 18-year-old to 30-year-old today is a $800 motorbike. That's the Liberian dream, folks. $800. It's not about going to school and acquiring technical skills and coming out and making a difference. It's just to get $800 to go hustle. Why? Because we have not created the alternative for them. That's not a real state. So government is inefficient, households are struggling. Then we come in, we politicize wages in the public sector, the biggest spender in the economy. We took from Peter, we gave it to Paul, we made both poor. Which means the purchasing power to business, the third component in our circular flow, does not get the purchasing, and therefore is not able to pay the taxes that should pay these people to come around. That is why we take pay for 3 months, for 2 months, for Christmas, all that noise happening here. So meaning this engine of the bus we call government, that includes government, household, and businesses, is not being well serviced every time they come here to us. We are the ones that are supposed to put the oil there. We are the mechanics here. The president is the driver. The ministers are the passengers in the drivers. I mean, in the bus, along with the citizens. They don't run this place. You never gave me easy pass here. When I was Minister of Finance, I came here, I remember 60 times. Now, I'm not angry about that because that's your job.
You came.
And I came.
At least you came.
All right? And where I made a mistake, I apologize. Oh, in politics, you can't apologize. You can't take responsibility for things. Then where's the integrity? So, colleagues, I had all of you. All the problems you had, the same problem I have in my place. There's a district. Gumulala district, district number 2. The Konneh car road there is the car road that was financed by our government through AFL that ended in Palakole in the district headquarters. The bridge that connected that sort of island district surrounded by Tuma River to the north, by the Simport to the west and the south, and by the Via River to the west, that bridge collapsed some 3-4 years ago. So the population there, the highest in the county, don't have access to to any economy, not the global economy, not the Liberian economy to that. So I look forward to working with the Bond County senators to make sure that we can open up that place to connect it to the main economy on the Total Highway. We're going to be bold here. Community forum all over the place. Constitutionally, let's ask ourselves here, do they have the right to arrest citizens under the Constitution or our laws, community watch forums? We've left the protection of the people to volunteer security men who sometimes skew justice to their relatives. That is why the killing happened in my sister. That's a serious problem. So I want to say that we all have talked about words like, bad roads, leadership, and this and that. Liberia is like a baby in the cradle. It's shaking. One of the pillar breaks, everything's spoiled, the baby dies. And that's the challenge before us. So I came here really with the hope that I can really work with all of you so that we put something aside. For all this political things, we don't really have much differences. CDC, rescue, this, that. Look at the manifestos of these political parties. What is the difference?
One are green barrel, one are red.
You see, what is the difference? The differences are not many. So sometimes I ask myself the question, is it dress bad dress? When somebody goes there, we get through more, we make it difficult for them to go on, so that we can come there too and repeat the same thing. Is that the goal here? But the goal is to move the country forward. So, I am very optimistic about the future. It will take time. I will keep saying this. For everything that people expect from this new government. Sometimes when we talk about government in Liberia, people focus on the executive. Why? Because we in the legislature make it that way. But there are 3 branches in our government. We the first branch. We divide the resources of this country. We tell the executive, the president cannot spend a penny until we say yes. Yes. The president of Liberia cannot spend a penny until we say yes here. Our relationship with the other branch, though, have to be cordial. But colleagues, our court system is corrupt. Justice goes to the higher bidder. That's not a credible state. We need to sit down and have a retreat, 3 branches in one room, one government, before we start, separating powers, and agree on the accountability framework for the 3 branches of government. They get work there, the executive get work here, we got work to do here. And part of our work is the way we are spending on ourselves. I will say uncomfortable things. I'm part of the institution now. If I don't speak up, then what?
True.
In West Africa, next to Nigeria, Liberia is the biggest spender on the legislature. When you compare that per capita income of the of actors in the economy, we are the highest in the entire West Africa. Public expenditure has skewed to the legislature. Since 2018, the legislature budget has been appreciating. Before we can talk about the executive giving money to the police, the health don't have medicines, the police this and that. But let's look at ourselves and see if instead of the 2 million we're talking about to the country, let's cut our own budget now and give it to our people.
Welcome.
Yes, we have to. We will talk about it. I'm using one voice.
Yeah.
I'm using one voice, but that doesn't mean I can speak up.
Speak up, my brother.
I may lose the debate.
Welcome. You will not lose it.
But I hope we all can reflect about this.
Welcome.
How do we hold them accountable when we don't do that? I want to thank you for electing me to be the chair for the PAC, the Public Accounting Audit. I'm not here to disrupt any system. I'm not here to look back. But, Madam Pro Tem, colleagues, going forward, every year let's audit ourselves. Every year, let whoever administration sort of work with the ways and means ourselves. Let's begin to put financial systems here. Even if the money is plenty, we don't call it, no problem, but let's account for it going forward. That way, every public money, as per the TOR of the Public Accounts Committee, is accounted for, including our own. But what moral authority do we have to call yearly here on the executive side on that province in our house? Let us build the moral code here, an agreement among ourselves that, okay, whatever happened has happened. We're not going back. But going forward for this 55th legislature, let us try to commit to introducing financial systems to account for money, to know where the public money is going, and to audit ourselves and make the funding public, not to indict anybody, but to continue to make reforms happen. So this is my intervention. I think when we try to look at the money, that now they sent a budget of $600-something million, 95% is recurrent expenditure. Where the magic is going to come from to program the thing for brackets over the next 100 days. This is where I talk about money in expectation, because we will have to look at that budget here. We'll have to look at revenue side, expenditure side, and now depending on the quality of appointees the president-elect will be standing here, it will take time for them to fix this thing. And in closing, yeah, coming close now. I'm back. In closing, and this is to all of us, the challenges are many. This is a difficult job that we've been given to the Liberian people. Difficult. So the president-elect, the appointees is standing here, they have to be on top of their game. We need to look for character and integrity. We need to know who they know here, the society, the fraternities they're in. I'm working on that. All right? We need to know what these people have accomplished in their careers that make them fit to do this job, so that the public don't turn against all of us. Because with 95% as recurrent expenditure, the wage bill has gone up by 11%, $11 million, $11 million. Just between last year and now, the pay in this budget that this government sent to us here, I mean to your here, those who were here in 54, has increased by 11 million. Have we looked at the budget that came here? It's a do-nothing budget, so we've got to send it back, so for the new president to send his budget, so we'll look at it and see how he's going to program it to invest in the people. Yes, we got work to do here. That's my message. Thank you very much.